Hey, how's it going, captains? Admiral Hattori here, and welcome aboard for another World of Warships video on my channel. In today's video, I have a replay with my Des Moines. Now, normally I don't do replays. I just record the gameplay directly because replays tend to be laggy. There's missing UI and the reticle and binoculars. Everything about replays. The only thing that is good about replays, which happens to be this gameplay, is that there are games that I don't record. And it is most likely because that specific day, I just go on a losing streak. There's just no point of me hitting the record button since I just lost hope. It just so happens that this game, which is the final game that I played on that day, was one of the greatest games that I have ever played in World of Warships. As you might have read by the title, it's an almost impossible comeback. My team completely collapsed mid-game, and somehow we managed with the remaining ships and my ship to turn around and win the game by a margin that is almost a complete loss, almost depressing for me. So right here, I am pushing forward on this side of the map, whereas my Albemarle and Bismarck are going to be late to the party. The friendly Holland is going to push into the B flag and capture that flag. Our big battleships, the Yamato Conqueror, are on the right side with the Mogami and Brindisi for the attack on sea. And at the moment, I'm going to scout for my team on this side, the west side, trying to get an idea of what kind of ships that they have. Talon appears, that is the tier 8 Russian heavy cruiser. I'm going to show broadside and get ready to turn around and figure out how many ships are going to target me. With the priority target, it's telling me that 2 ships are currently targeting me, 3, and do we see a 4? And there is the 4. So there is a number of ships on the side, especially when they have a tier 10 battleship Curfers with the North Carolina. I'm going to put myself in a retreating position and skirmish, because you just don't simply charge in. Fortunately for me, the Des Moines has great concealment, so I'm able to just turn around and outspot the Talon just in time. It looks like the Seattle is pushing in with the Talon. Bismarck and Albemarle are soon to join me. I'm going to focus the Talon because Des Moines 203mm guns, they have a high rate of fire, some serious alpha on the AP, and they really are designed for dealing against cruisers. So Talon is going to show broadside. That means I'm going to load the AP and punish the Talon. Now with this high rate of fire and the sheer AP damage of the Des Moines, I don't really need to show the first 2 turrets just to get more firepower. The rear guns are just good enough to take out the Talon's HP, and right there you witness me score a Citadel and knocking out the engine. So my armor is bouncing the shells off the Talon, and now finally the Bismarck and Albemarle joins me. Holland took the B flag. Our friendly Puerto Rico, which came from the B flag, now is pushing to the A flag, and it looks like the North Carolina broke off from the enemy fleet on this side. So now there's only the Seattle and the Curfers. So now the Bismarck and Albemarle are going to push the Curfers. I would say that the best choice of action is really just to hold this position and harass the Curfers as she pushes, because she's a Curfer. She can seriously just bow on, tank everyone's damage, and then knock whatever ship within her range, since she has 12 big guns, which are at least 406mm. If you choose to opt for 420, you do even more damage. And of course, having a huge help pool and being a German battleship with our secondaries, just not ideal engaging the Curfers. Unless the Bismarck just happens to be a tier pits with her torpedoes, then she has a chance of chumping the Curfers HP quite a bit if she were to engage the tier pits. But we only have the Bismarck. Albemarle took a massive hit from the Curfers, I believe. So the Curfers are the Alsace, and the Curfer secondaries will finish off the Albemarle. So at this moment, it's just me, Bismarck, against the Curfers. We should really pull off because the Seattle and Alsace are pushing up. The sea side of the fleet, which is the east, failed to take the sea flag, and it looks like they're going to retreat. The mid portion of the map are are under control with the Holland. And here I am trying to take down the Kurfürst, and of course the worst thing that I could ever imagine what the Bismarck would do is show broadside to the Kurfürst's 12 big guns. So Kurfürst got a massive hit on the Bismarck after wiping out the Albemarle. Bismarck should really turn away, but she is determined to brawl with the Kurfürst, and as you might have guessed, it's not going to end that well because Kurfürst is a tier 10 battleship, a German battleship, while the Bismarck is tier 8. The best that the Bismarck can do against the Kurfürst is ram the Kurfürst, but the Kurfürst is already taking evasive maneuvers here to avoid the ram, and eventually the Bismarck will get withered by the Kurfürst and the Alsace on the right side. So we're talking about tier 10 and tier 9 battleship on this side with a tier 9 light cruiser Seattle. Now right here, Seattle is showing actually some broadside. She's feeling very brave, if you were to describe it. Loading the AP at a distance as a light cruiser, it's not gonna work that way. So for me, since I'm a heavy cruiser, I'm going to low AP and show how the AP works with bigger guns. The Prince Eugen does join me, and right there I score my first Citadel on the Seattle. Seattle seems like she can't quite decide what to do. Should she just make a U-turn and sail away, or should she just try to back up? Might be quicker to get behind the islands and block my shells, but it's too late. She made the massive mistake of showing broadside in the first place, and I'm going to just punish her. Now she is angling, trying to correct it, but I think it's a little too late right here since I'm going to load the HE to finish her off. So once the Seattle is taken out, I'm going to switch my focus to the Alsace. Friendly Bismarck is taken out, and now it's only the Alsace. Surprisingly, Alsace does not give a damn about the Des Moines on her broadside, which means that I'm going to try to pepper the Alsace before she enters the cap and focus the Puerto Rico. Enemy team, if you look on the minimap, they are pushing that B flag, which is effectively cutting our fleet in half, and majority of our ships are already still in the spawn, which is not good. So now the Kurfürst is the only target that is available for me to shoot. I'm going to proceed to fire at the Kurfürst with the help of the Prince Eugen. Mogami is going to join me. Now, let me remind you, the Mogami was from the C side, and somehow she managed to get to the A side of the map that quick, which kind of gives me bad news that C did not go well at all. Puerto Rico is still alive. She looks like she's trying to face off the Alsace. I'm trying to slug rounds at a distance against the Kurfürst. Now, ideally, of course, Americans tend to do better with their shells, the guns, at closer range, especially the Des Moines, because the hang time on the shells are pretty bad. But I'm at this distance mainly because I'm trying to increase the dispersion on the Kurfürst, or more like decrease the chance of getting hit by Kurfürst's big guns. Because if you know anything about the Des Moines, she tends to eat a lot of damage from big battleship guns. Showing broadside in Des Moines is also not a good idea, which I just managed to luck out. It looks like the Puerto Rico is taken out in the A flag. Now the Alsace is going to take the A flag. With the enemy team already securing the B flag, it looks like it's going to be not good because my team are way out of position. Somehow we managed to find ourselves back at spawn, and now we are just all over the place. So right here, I make the decision to cut the chase from the Kurfürst and start focusing the mid portion of the map, which was the issue because the enemy team made a bold move to cut the team in half, and they successfully did that. My Iowa is going to push the Kurfürst, and let's see how successful the Iowa is going to do that. Brindisi is still way in the back. Looks like she's trying to regroup after breaking off from the fleet, doing whatever she can to do. Basically, she tried her best at the C flag, but looks like it's not going to be any good at this point because most of our battleships are on this side. Without the big guns, can't really do anything against that Kurfürst and the Iowa on that side. So our Iowas got taken out, and I'm going to try to finish off the Kurfürst. Enemy team is sitting on 3 flags, and if you just take a look at the point count, it's going up pretty fast for them. I activate my radar to get an idea what's going on the A flag and figure out where the Haragumo is at, and the Haragumo is on the B flag. So with hydroacoustic search on, I'm going to proceed cautiously to figure out how I'm going to attack the Haragumo. Now the Haragumo is going to be very critical here. It's going to be very important because you will find that luck is going to be on my side just to turn this game around. Salem is showing broadside. I proceed to low AP. Perfect broadside. It's looking good. And yep, it's not good. It looks good, but it turns out to be not good. I got full penetration and overpen. I back up. I take a fire right here. Iowa show broadside, but not showing any care of my ship on the side, so I got free pass. I damage control it because I'm trying to get every HP save since I was not spotted, but unfortunately, I take a fire at the last second. And with that bad luck, there's got to be some sort of good luck coming around the corner for me, right? It's got to be a trade, a balance. So Hindenburg is right on that side also. Iowa is going to push. Enemy team look very confident. Looking on the map, not so great on my team. Yamato and Conqueror, our top tier battleships, are on the side. Really out of position. And Brindisi with the Prince Eugen are just falling back. So 3 flags, points is still ticking, and it looks like a total loss. But something's gotta have to turn around, and someone's gotta make the conscious decision to push in. So right here, at some point, I'm going to push in because looking on the mini-map is actually ideal because a lot of the island is actually blocking a good portion of the big guns. So at some point, I'm going to take advantage of that fact. Conqueror is going to push the west side now. Looks like she's going to face off with the Alsace. I'm going to leave the Conqueror deal with the Alsace while I focus the Iowa. Iowa seems to just suddenly stop and push back. Luckily for me, I'm able to sling some shells over the island since, again, American shells tend to hang, and I guess since it hangs, it gives me great arcs to sling shells over islands. At this point, we are on a 300 point deficit. We've been sitting on 400 some points for a while since we haven't gotten a single flag, and I decide that it is time to turn the tables. It is time to pull off the Uno Reverso. And deja vu right here, exactly the same incident as the first engagement. Salem shows broadside and she enters the island, and I'm going to try this again. Score 2 citadels, and let's see if we can finish off the Salem. 5 citadels total, and that takes out the Salem. Just the thing I needed. So now the Salem's out of the picture. It only brings me with the Haragumo near the B flag, and of course the Iowa with the Hindenburg at the C flag. Conqueror is doing something with the Alsace. I'm just crossing my fingers that she will win against the Alsace. Once she deals with the Alsace, hopefully Conqueror pushes into the A flag to stop the bleed on points. I am approaching 900 points. The enemy team actually is approaching 900 points. Not, I wish I was at 900 points, but yeah. They're approaching 900 points and they're just gaining. They're just gaining, and we're actually below 400 points now. It looks like the Yamato died for that reason. This leaves me with the only option of just hoping somehow within 6 minutes we're gonna turn this around. Now I have already accepted defeat at this point, considering that I'm already demoralized after that particular day since I've been on a losing streak. And at this point I'm just pushing in just to get as much damage as possible, get my XP and get my credits and take it home. Iowa somehow managed to be low, and I'm going to start focusing the Iowa. Gonna turn in, trying not to take a citadel, and somehow we took out the Iowa. Torpedoes are incoming my way. It's from the Haragumo. Conqueror takes out the Alsace. Now her next mission is to take the A flag and stop the bleed while I take the B flag. Brindisi and Prince Eugen are returning to the battlefield, and they're going to try to help me take the B flag while pushing into the C. This only leaves the enemy team with the Haragumo and the Hindenburg. Now all they have to do is to flee. That's all they have to do. All they have to do is flee. We managed to turn the tables in terms of the number of ships, but they're pretty much guaranteed to win if they just sit on the points that they already have, because our deficit in points of difference is just too big. I radar and I found the Harugumo still lurking on the side of the map. I fired my gun, sailing full on towards the Harugumo because my only chance of winning is that I gotta take out this Harugumo. Hindenburg is not that big of a problem because I can chase down the Hindenburg, but definitely not a Harugumo when she's running away. So I'm trying to aim as well as possible, predicting where the Harugumo was going, and I lead a lot of my shells pretty well. Harugumo was out of range of my radar, and I was fortunate enough that she proceeds to shoot. Now she's gone, and basically she survives. But remember when I got that bad luck with the fire earlier with the Salem, where I damage control, and just when my damage control is done, Salem sets another fire? That bad luck is going to be paid off with good luck right here, and I score a fire on the Harugumo. As a result, I'm waiting. Is this Harugumo going to die? And she does. This leaves me with only the Hindenburg. Conquer takes the A flag. Prince Eugen is pushing in with me to the B flag, trying to capture the B flag, and Brindisi is going to stop the bleed on points by taking the C flag. We got 3 minutes to kill the Hindenburg, and anything can go wrong. I mean, if the Hindenburg takes out the Brindisi, there's a good chance that the Hindenburg can take home the win for their team. Now, all Hindenburg has to do is either A, take out the Brindisi, or B, sit behind that island that's near the Hindenburg right now. Just sit, stay concealed, wait for 3 minutes, and if I manage to get there, fight it out. Or stay concealed and manage to go all the way to the top right corner of the map, which is the best option. But you just don't know. You just don't know. I might have caught up to him, or there's plenty of options. But the best option is just stay concealed and work with what you have. You would think that, right? Well, Hindenburg isn't going quite as fast as she likes, and it looks like she doesn't have concealment built, and she's determined to fire at the Brindisi. Now, there's gotta be a good reason why she's firing at the Brindisi. I wonder what could be the reason. Either A, the Brindisi is low, or B, the Brindisi isn't low, or C, he's just trying to reset the cap. For whatever reason it is, you didn't really reset the cap because you're already near victory. Just have to survive for 2 minutes. And it looks like, once the Hindenburg fires another salvo here. Right here, I'm screaming in the chat, give me this win. This is one of the greatest games I have ever played if I can get the win. Icing on top of the cake. Brindisi managed to slow down the points right here. They're at 942 points, alright? So it's very close. And there you have it. Hindenburg takes out the Brindisi. So right here, I am panicking. 980 points. They're still getting points. I'm typing in the chat that somebody get on the C flag because they're going to win on points. And fortunately, somebody looked at the chat, and it looks like the Prince Eugen is going to save the day right there by going on the flag. Giving me enough time to focus down the Hindenburg, and let's see if we can just finish off the Hindenburg. Fire got set, and I'm going to slow down because once the final kill is secured, the replay just crashes to the desktop. So yeah, it turns out I think the Conqueror took the final kill. Great game. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time on World of Warships.